Organisms, and remember last time we said organisms are living things that are made up of one or more cells. Organisms are always one of two different types of cells. It's either a prokaryote or it's a eukaryote. If it is a prokaryote, we like to use wordplay sometimes, and you can think of prokaryote like prototype. And eukaryote, the U part kind of sounds like true. So prokaryotes are like prototypes and eukaryotes are true. And we'll see why that's important later.
Teacher, oh teacher, please don't keep me after school.
Let's begin with prokaryotes because it's easier. Prokaryotes are always,
and I mean always, single cell organisms. Don't let them ever tell you otherwise.
Prokaryotes also do not have a nucleus. Don't worry, all these organelles that I'm bringing up, don't be too worried about it. We're going to have another video in a little bit about what they are. And speaking of organelles, not only does it not have a nucleus, it doesn't have any membrane-bound organelles at all. So there's nothing like around it. There's no little sac protecting any of the organelles that actually exist in the cell. And generally speaking, it is usually smaller, and I mean like much smaller than a eukaryotic cell. Even if we're just comparing like one cell to one cell, on average, prokaryotes usually are very small. In fact, I'm gonna show you a picture of a general prokaryote. It doesn't always look like this, but generally speaking, this is what they look like because, well, they're single cells. So whatever it needs to do, that one cell should be able to do it. So that's why it generally looks like this. So the other type of cell is called a eukaryotic cell, and just like I said earlier, you kind of sounds like true. And we like to use that term because it is the only cell that has a true nucleus. Remember, the prokaryote doesn't have one, but the eukaryote does. And with eukaryotic cells, they are way more complex than prokaryotes, so they actually have membrane-bound organelles. So organelles that kind of are packaged up a little bit. And again, don't worry about the actual names of these organelles. In another video, we're going to go over all of them. An organism that is made up of eukaryotic cells can either be unicellular or multicellular. If it is unicellular, it has one cell. If it is multicellular, it has many cells, or at least more than one. So of course we said there's a prokaryote and we said there's a eukaryote, but there are actually similarities between the two. Both of them always have a cell membrane, as in the thing that goes around the cell to let things go in and let things go out, because I mean it does need its protection regardless of how complex it is. Both eukaryotic cells and prokaryotes, they both have a cytoplasm, so the liquid jelly-like substance that's inside the cell that kind of lets the organisms float and swim around. Both cells have it. Although prokaryotes don't have as many, both have organelles. Eukaryotic cells have more organelles than prokaryotes. But again, remember we said eukaryotic cells are always bigger than prokaryotes. And both of these organisms have DNA. Yes, the eukaryotic cells have a nucleus to hold its DNA. However, the prokaryote is still an organism. It still needs instructions of how it should be made, what it can do. So it still has DNA. Different, but still equally important in our evolution and development of life. And one that I want to emphasize is that both prokaryotes and eukaryotes can be unicellular, meaning one cell. But the difference is that prokaryotes can only be unicellular, whereas eukaryotes, or organisms that have eukaryotic cells, they can either be unicellular or multicellular. I have a quiz for you. What kind of cells do you think you as an organism have? prokaryotes or eukaryotic cells?